Hey guys, Dr. Drunk aka here with a game for you in my Tier 8 Premium German cruiser, the Mainz. We're on trap, it is domination, and we are top tier, divvied up with Penguin in his Tier 8 Premium USS Kid. So, what do you need to know about the Mainz? Well, the Mainz is probably the only thing that Wargaming has gotten right in terms of German premiums this year. We're running a basic build with the rudder shift mod. We're running Lutyens with a premium or basic light cruiser build. We're basically going for fire damage because the Mainz, just like every other German cruiser, has quarter pen IFHE baked right into the guns. What is it to know about the Mainz? Well, the Mainz is essentially a Nuremberg gun setup on a hipper hull. It's not quite a hipper. It has 25 millimeters of armor all around, and it does not have that trollish belt armor that the hipper does. That means that it can be beaten up on a little bit more by battleships and, of course, by heavy cruisers, but as you can see the matchmaking, we're top tier. There's only one heavy cruiser on the enemy team, being the Baltimore. And, of course, battleships. You don't want to be shot at by battleships anyway. We're going to start off with Penguin heading right into the B-cap to contest the Cossack, who was so kindly spotted by our Ranger. I'm going to support that B-cap from just beyond arm's length. As the Mainz, you don't want to be the first thing that is shot at, mainly because you simply do not have neither the hit point pool nor the armor to deal with that kind of firepower headed your way. Now, as you can see, our Jervis is headed towards the northern part of B-cap. We have an AFK Vladivostok, of course. The Shiratsuyu, even though C is being capped, the Shiratsuyu sees the Baltimore, and he's going to push his way straight into C-cap. He has no support if he looks at his minimap. The Pensacola is unable to do anything. The Nagato and the Duke of York are unable to provide any kind of fire support to that. And you have to assume that there really is going to be something in there that wants to kill you. In fact, we can already see that both of the Tier 8 battleships, the Massachusetts and the Lenin, are both in that cap. The Baltimore's in that cap, and now we see the Moss up in C. So the Shiratsuyu's best bet would be to actually just leave. Looking at what is spotted, we have everything except for the Akatsuki and the Shinonome spotted already. There's nothing down here at the A cap. The Gepard is actually capping uncontested. So, because we're about to tuck into cover behind this island, we're going to start putting shells out on this Richelieu, see if we can start burning him down a bit. Penguin is managing to murder that Cossack, and in fact, he gets the first blood here. It's worth noting the Jervis just popped his Hydro, and then he eats Cossack torpedoes because, well, why not? That is a fair enough trade, though. Taking a top-tier destroyer off the map is very, very impressive. Unfortunately, the Shiratsuyu dies to the guns of the Shinonome. That's amusing. And he's going to bitch in chat here for a little while that he had no support. Well, honestly, bud, if you look at the map, there's absolutely nothing behind you that can support you, so why did you make that push? Unfortunately, that is pretty much par for the course these days in World of Warships, and you'll see a lot more of that as this game progresses. We're unspotted while firing. We have some really, really nice island cover right here. This is actually a really great light cruiser position. And we can farm this Richelieu for a while. We get a fire on him. And we're doing really good damage if you can see the damage numbers tick up there. This quarter pen, 155, 152. I think it's 152 millimeter. Quarter pen high explosive does a lot of damage, especially to French ships, which have that 32 millimeter coating all over them. Now, since there is nothing down here, I'm not spotted. We're going to just push. Penguin is farming that Richelieu as I speak. We have 3 top-tier battleships off to my right-hand side. And the Richelieu is not going to be long for this world. And then you can see in chat that Shiratsuyu, who died in C, is complaining that their whole team is pushing C. Well, no shit, Sherlock. That's why we're not in C. We're down by a ship. We are down by only a few points. We're going to equalize that here in a second when this Richelieu eventually bites the big one. Now I'm spotted, and I'm thinking, what is spotting me? The only thing we haven't seen, we have not seen the Akatsuki yet, but we can infer from all chat that he was probably somewhere down around A, because the Akatsuki, in all chat, was saying that our battleship abandoned A and abandoned the destroyer at A. So the only assumption we can make is that the Akat was somewhere around A. We don't know where he was around A. As for what the Nuremberg was doing, I have absolutely no idea what he was doing. I don't know what he was thinking. Sitting stationary behind the island, he's lucky that there wasn't a battleship there to instantly remove him from the game. At this point, we have 3 top-tier battleships, all sitting in B. We have 2 caps. We're up by about 100 points, give or take. Well, we were up by 100 points. We're only up by a few points. We're down a ship, but we do have 2 caps. All we have to do is defend. Penguin somehow spots the Moss and starts burning him down, and I'm thinking, well, I'll take a few pot shots at him, but what I really want to do, I want to set up next to this center island in B cap and just be a problem for the enemy team. A couple of shells out at the Synop. We want to try and get him back behind the island so that he can't do any damage to me. I'm actually very, very concerned by the Synop. I don't want him to be able to shoot at me. Colorado's looking elsewhere, and we're going to want to try and keep that Colorado on fire as much as possible. Our whole goal here, and of course the Synop nukes the Duke of York, and we're suddenly behind on points even though we are ahead on caps. Fires on the Colorado. Massachusetts is about, looks to be about half health at this point. We're just going to park behind this island, and we're just going to see what happens. As you can see, our Gepard, up in about the D2 area, is found the Akatsuki. He's also found the Moss, and he's in a sticky situation. He has no smoke, and up against 2 tier 7 destroyers, he's probably not going to last very long. Our hope, of course, is that he can probably just take the Akat with him. That would be wonderful. In the meantime, we're going to hang right here, and we are just going to be a nuisance. We're just going to be a pain in the enemy's ass. Just dropping high explosive shells on whatever gets in range. Setting fires on the Vladdy, forcing out the damage control. Of course, he goes unspotted. Colorado becomes my easy target. So we're going to work on burning that Colorado right to the ground. Baltimore pops up. Penguin's over in chat calling, yo, dude, Baltimore, Balti, if you can get him. I'm looking at the minimap and I'm going, yeah, with the island angles, probably not, but I'm going to give it a try. Colorado does go down. Unfortunately, we don't get that kill after burning him down significantly. But everybody goes dark. Really have nothing that we can shoot at this point. So at this point, it's just kind of a waiting game. And of course, in chat, we're basically saying, look, it'd be nice if the CV went after that Akatsuki. The Akatsuki is all alone. The CV can pretty much pick on him as much as he wants. But the CV is obsessed with farming battleships on the 910 line. And before you know it, we're suddenly down by 3 ships. Now, I'm spotted at this point. I'm going, wait a second. I haven't fired. The Akatsuki is last detected well outside my detection range. The Moss is behind an island. The Baltimore's behind an island. The Lenin's behind an island. That has to be the Shinonome. Shinonome hasn't been seen for a long time, so the question has to be made, where is he? We pop that Hydro, that big, powerful 6K Hydro, and what we're going to do now, we're just going to shoot what's available. We're not going to get impatient. We're just going to fire on what's available. We're going to do damage where we can. We're going to set fires to what we can. We're going to try and whittle things down. The key to winning any kind of game is patience. It's absolutely the key to winning any kind of game like this is patience. I'm targeted by somebody. It's not the Lenin. The Lenin's the only thing that clearly has shots on me, so I'm thinking it's got to be the DD, and it has to be something. And then, of course, the torpedo markers come up. Hydro catches that torpedo. Hydro catches those torpedoes coming, and I'm thinking, shit. I don't know how far away he was. At this point, he's got to be somewhere within my base detection if I can... Oh, they run out. Yes, they run out. Well, now I know where the Shinonome is. Meanwhile, Penguin's telling me I gotta go and try and kill this Akatsuki. The Ranger doesn't want to, and we need to try and keep our carrier alive so that we can have the spotting. Our Alabama is rushing in to die in a crossfire, of course, because that's what you do. Our Vladivostok already rushed in to die in a crossfire against a bow-in Sinop, because that's what you do. At this point, I'm going to vacate this B-cap. Mainly for two reasons here. Number one, I know there's a DD behind me that I really need to be concerned about. I need to try and stay away from him until I can get some spotting from either the CV or from Penguin to get rid of this guy. Number two, there's a Lenin and a Massachusetts coming, and I do not want to be in their sights. I want to get some kind of solid cover in between myself and all of those big 16-inch guns. I don't want to be part of that. Of course, the Akatsuki manages to torp the Ranger, and there goes our CV, as we activate Iron Strike. Iron Strike means we're going to get a buff to our reload speed, and as you can see, we've got a reload speed somewhere now around 5.3, 5.4 seconds, instead of our typical 7-second reload speed. So, Lucian's really shines on a ship like the Mainz that has this ridiculous DPM. Taking a look at the minimap, taking a look at our situation, we are down by 4 ships. We're down by 100 points. The B-cap is being contested. Our Richelieu is going to die. There are no two ways about it. The Akatsuki dies to Penguin. The Richelieu dies to the Sinop. Sinop, who I have been pestering the whole damn game. Thankfully, he just fired, and his guns are looking the other direction. With this reload, he's not getting those guns around in time to wreck me, and I actually win that gunfight. Now, we're down by points. We're down 3 ships. We do not have a carrier. We are losing B-cap. There are 2 of us alive. 2 of us to kill 5 ships. Here's the point where we're both basically saying, God damn it, we wish this team was not so stupid. We wish this team decided to do anything. And we figure, well, what the hell? Might as well have some fun with this, right? Might as well get a bunch of damage, do some PR farming. Why the hell not? Lenin is not looking at me. His turrets are actually not pointed at me for some bizarre reason. So we're going to angle away. He does get those guns swung around. We're going to angle away, and we're going to slow down, and we're going to hope for the best. And by the grace of RNGesus, he does overshoot. He misses. And now we have a little bit of time to farm. The biggest problem we have to think about at this point is that Massa is within secondary range. That Massa is within main gun battery range. And even at this range, Massachusetts guns are accurate enough that this could be a problem for me. I don't think he's a full secondary Massachusetts, because if he was a full secondary Massachusetts, these secondary shells would probably be hitting a lot harder. And they do hit hard for a ship like this. So I have to wonder about that build. As you'll notice, I'm really focusing on when he fires so that I can try and turn and, you know, avoid as much of this return fire as possible. I do see him pushing south around the island, which is perfect, because at this point, I'm trying to isolate myself. I'm trying to take on one ship at a time. I don't want to be dealing with multiple battleships at a time. I have torpedoes. I have a very quick reload. I should be able to do some damage to these battleships. Note 115k damage as we stand now. Penguin drops torps on the Massachusetts, and suddenly Shinonome torps appear, and holy shit, there he is. And for some bizarre reason, for reasons that I will never understand, the Moss suddenly decides now is the time to use your guns. With 290 hit points left, the Moss decides that this is your chance to use guns. Now, I'm telling Penguin in chat, in voice chat, that I'll try my best to get shells on him. These shells are really floaty. It's tough to hit a DD, especially one as small as the Shinonome from that range. But one thing that really makes sense here is those shells force the Shinonome to turn away so that he could not use his rear turrets. And a nifty little dodge here. That Lenin, I know for a fact that I'm going to treat this like a low-tier American DD. I'm just going to wiggle slowly back and forth here as I close the distance so that I can torp this Lenin. Only get that first rack of torps out on the Lenin, and this is twofold. Number one, I did not want to risk broadsiding the Lenin. The Lenin scares me far more than the Massachusetts, because the Massachusetts dispersion, especially with his guns not looking at me, is much more questionable than the Lenins. Second of all, I don't know if I might need to drive by this guy, and I'm going to save a rack of torps just so that I can do that. I'm going to use a trick here that I'm going to put the edge of my torpedo marker on the bow of that Lenin to guarantee one of those hits. In this case, we actually get 4 torpedo hits, which I'm incredibly surprised by, and a devastating strike. The Massa gets his guns turned around, and he misses. We're going to tuck in behind the island. We're also going to tuck in behind the hulk of the Lenin to try and use that for body armor. CV's going to ape all over me until I see him about 9.5k away. Penguin's really just trying to stay alive at this point. Get a torp on the Massachusetts, and Penguin tells me he does not have damage con. He used his damage con already. So that Massa, unless he has a heal, is probably dead. Switch to the AP. The Ranger decides he's turning in. 9 bounces, 3 pens, and a Citadel. That's kind of amusing. But we're going to switch to the HE. The HE will be able to Citadel the Ranger, no problem. Do take one of these torps, but this game is actually going to be over. From being a 5v2, the only thing left on the board is the CV, and to be perfectly honest, even if this CV does manage to kill me, he's not going to be able to do anything with these depleted squadrons. He won't be able to kill Penguin, and this is going to be a win. If we take a look at the post-battle results here, we're going to have 240,000 damage. We're going to have a high caliber. We're going to have a devastating strike, 4 kills, 27 plane kills. That is good enough for top on the team. 2,748 base XP. Penguin right behind with the Kraken, 2,339 base XP. We took 9 of the total kills. And working as intended, the cruiser kills 3 of the battleships and the carrier just as intended. And of course, big old chunk of commander XP. 845,000 credits, 3,900 free XP. Guys, we do play all of these games on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/DrDrunkAKA. Head on over there, drop a follow, smash the subscribe button here on YouTube. And last call, the bar is closing. I'll see you guys again real soon.